ultimately this question is, what'd you think about your team tonight? But one of the questions I've got, was this were you happy with this performance in relation to Columbus, or was this not quite what you were looking for?
No, we weren't quite. No, was not happy with the performance. Was it a little better than the other night? Yeah, but we were not happy with the performance. There's still a lot of things that we need to improve on, and we will do that in training. Unfortunately, in my career, there was a lot of moments like this where the team was not playing very well. It seemed like every week for 15 years. And the only way you can improve is by really honing in on the details in training and holding players and coaches accountable for those details. And it really is. I know it's a cliche, but you really just have to put the work in. It's detailed work. It's holding each other accountable for mistakes, for for an example, at the moment with the ball, lack of movement is pretty evident, and it's way too static, and it's all very individual. And so our collective movement in playing right now is I guess non-existent, if you will. Timmy's injury put us in a tough spot. I thought up until then it was okay. So we were seeing signs of improvement. And that threw us back a little bit. And then ultimately we had to change formations to have different starting positions and empower the guys a little more to move in the right spots. And it was a little better. Definitely showed more control, but I guess to answer your question, I'm not happy with the performance tonight.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about the first 15 minutes, and after Tillman came off, it seemed like there was the team played differently, obviously, and you had to drop Matty into the midfield. The effect of not having Matty in the middle of the attack, it seemed like you guys were flowing, and it was less individual. The first 15 minutes, would you say that that's right? And what was the effect afterwards?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's right. I think you create a match plan for a specific opponent, and today Matty had a bigger role coming underneath, and then trying to find him, which will ultimately find then Denis and Kike in behind. Way we've played in the past, and it was in training evident. So we had high hopes, and unfortunately, in moments like this, your ideas get thrown out the window a few minutes into the game. So we reacted, and but it wasn't ideal. I think at the moment our midfield is kind of getting run over a little bit, and it should be the heart of this team and the engine of this team. And right now, fatigue has set in, but just not mobile enough, and our performance in midfield, among other positions too, it's not just midfield, has not been good enough.
Hi, Coach. Do you think teams maybe saw something that Columbus may have exposed from LAFC, a little bit of higher press, being a little bit more physical, that we kind of saw remnants, that you saw remnants of that today as well?
Nothing new. Teams have always come and try to press, and they do have success until we find space in behind. What's missing are the answers and the solutions that we always have, and players should know that they're just not doing. When a team presses, I don't understand for the life of me why we're continuing to try to build out of the back. 17,000 passes where the simple solution is try to play in behind. If you saw the goal Columbus conceded tonight, exactly that. That's their weak spot, and you need to expose that. Every team has a weak spot. And right now our boys are not finding those solutions in the games. And those are things we'll talk about.
Steve, how is Tillman? Do you guys know a little bit of what happened?
No, not yet. We'll do further testing tomorrow.
As you answered a little bit what I was going to ask about the midfield, then a follow-up would be, do you think, thinking about the summer window, is that something that would be a priority because of the load and what you mentioned, that it's being hard as well in that zone?
We will absolutely strengthen ourselves also in the middle of the park, yeah.
Steve, just going back to your very first answer, you mentioned about this has happened too many times over 15 years. Most people would say it's hardly happened at all because your reputation is one of the best coaches in the league. That's why you get linked with the USA job, that people think you're a good coach, you seem to be beating yourself up a bit.
I was referring to my playing career.
Right, so-
I think I'm a wonderful coach. I was referring to my playing career, playing with a team in Germany who was always fighting against relegation. And so it seemed like there were a lot of these moments where it's really difficult to beat a Bayern Munich or a Borussia Dortmund at their best. You need to play perfectly and they need to play poorly. And to get enough points to stay in division when you are quality-wise not as good as the other teams, it takes a lot of hard work and conviction and of discipline, sticking to the plan. And I know it works. And that's something that we'll get back to here. And we will turn it around and we'll start playing good again. It's just going to take some more work. Unfortunately for us, there's not a whole lot of training sessions where we can work on these things. That's the beauty of a congested schedule when you're winning, and I guess the other side of it when you're not.